Hey guys, Fox here. Welcome into another episode of Epic Upgrade, where I'm gonna be making sides for my missing gantry. This time it's gonna be some next level precision stuff. I'm quite sure in this video you're gonna see the stuff you haven't seen before, so please buckle your seatbelts and enjoy watching. Here I have 4 side plates, and I was curious, what's the difference between them after I flattened them. I took, whatever I had to took to stop aluminium from bending. Apparently it stops bending at the same thickness, more or less. I think I was really lucky. I'm very lucky. Here is the comparison between one plate and the other one. That's 38, 34. So 40 microns off. And here I have the other plates, the other two, and they are like 41, 42, yeah, 41 and a half, and here I have 42. So they're really close. I want to put those 2 plates into my gantry base, so the gantry will rest on them, and those will go onto the Rexroth linear rails. So I wanted them to be, very, very flat. Those 2 are going as a vertical support, so they're not critical at all. I thought I could show you my setup on vacuum plate. So I have a piece which is not sucked yet. I have my probe, which is 10mm blank, and I'm gonna jog by hand until I slightly move it. Okay, and now I can go to the other end and just lift it up. So I'm like resting on that side and just pushing against this one, and I have to lift it up so the seal doesn't grab it and move it. Going back, same thing here, just to release friction from the seal, and I think it's good. Yeah, it's not moving, so I can suck it down. Okay, it's down, solid as a rock, beautiful. So now I can indicate it. So I'm gonna start from the back. Okay, it's set, and now this corner, select. Okay, and the top. Okay, and I like to indicate the top a couple of times, just to be sure I'm not cutting through the vacuum plate. Okay, looks right. And now I'm gonna choose the piece on the vacuum plate and see how deep that goes, to be sure I'm not going under. Okay. Okay. And it's done. I have this thin piece. Maybe it's not as thin as I was thinking. Now I'm gonna do the second side. So I'm gonna cut the pocket off with the chamfer, and I have to bore bigger screw mounts for those holes on that side. Yeah, and we'll see how well I will align it. It's not critical to be dead center, but I'll do my best. Okay, I'm gonna try to, align it with the screws, and then I'm gonna get the clamps. I thought I would never have to clamp again, but yeah, I hate those clamps, but sometimes you have to use them. Good. Now I'm gonna use my probe to set it up. Okay. And that should be good. And the visual inspection. Okay, it did move the bit. Still touching. Yep. Now I will go to the other end. Is it touching? It is. So you're gonna get another clamp. 3 points is always better than 2. And obviously 4 points is better than 3. The one exception, it's a surface plate, where apparently 3 points is better than 4. It doesn't look like it's gonna move. And now I can indicate. So I'm gonna be indicated here. Okay. And here. Okay. And now the top. Jeez, it's a horrible sound. I think it was a good match. We're gonna see how uniform the chamfer is all around. And see if the alignment was any good. I mean, it's good enough. It cut the part off. So. Okay, now I'm gonna drill some mounting holes from the bottom. Okay, it's all tapped. I pre-sanded it, and now I'm gonna deeper tap holes. So I'm gonna be using a drill on a slow speed, and I'm gonna give it a small spin. Let's see if there is any burr. I'm gonna get the sandpaper. There is some burr on the granite. Okay, clean. Just gonna rub it. Feels smooth, so I don't think there is any burr. I think it looks good. Let's see if it's perpendicular to the surface. Rub it on the granite surface plate. Oh, there was something. Still looks good. Here it looks like it's a high spot around that hole and a high spot around that hole. Maybe I'm gonna rub it a few more times with some rubbing alcohol. I think it's yeah, quite flat. It won't glide by itself, but it glides really well on the alcohol. Okay, it's smudged off now. Here is way smudged, so I think it's good. Look. This thing is rubbing everywhere. Okay, I get the square edge and see if it's straight up. Okay, so here it is. Here I have a light behind it and the door. So now we're gonna close the gap. Rotate it on an angle. And I think the line thickness is uniform, and when I'm gonna touch it against, it looks flat. I mean, a flat perpendicular. So precisely 90 degrees. And now I will try to flatten this one. So I'll get the square edge. Okay, now I think it's already good enough. So now I will switch maybe to finer sandpaper. I'll put that one aside. Take it out. Put the new one in. Maybe this way. That's pretty bad. I can't use it anymore because my sandpaper is not big enough, so that would be on an angle. And it's a 1200, so I guess it won't be aggressive or anything to cut too much. You could actually scan that way. So you scan the reflection and the distortion of the reflection of a known pattern. That's basically how the scanning works. But yeah, you could have a 3D of the surface if someone is interested. Yeah, so I think it's definitely good enough. Now I'm gonna, test if it's still square. I think it should be. I took barely anything of it. It took me a while to take anything of it. That's straight. Now I'm gonna move the close. So that's when it's, I would say, perfectly straight. Let's do a test assembly to see how it looks. So here I have my y-axis. I guess it might need some lubrication, and that will be bolted in here. The vertical and horizontal piece weighs 5 kilograms, and it goes to 17.5. Not too shabby. That's the thickness of my granite gantry, and I have that cut out so I can, set it vertically without many issues. The ball screw will go through like this. If I will have to adjust, the gantry left or right, like forward or backward, then, that ball screw can follow with the gantry and it's not attached to this. If you move the gantry with all the rails and stuff and that stays in the same place, then there is a damage to your ball screw or rails or the gantry. So it's better if gantry can travel with all the assembly, which is moving it. And at the back it will look like this. So it will stick like that, and here will be, the servo. And yeah, so far so good. So it's some time later, and I have my plates anodized, matte black, and now we're gonna assemble them. And it's quite important to put them at the perfect angle, so when the top plate meets with the bottom plate, you want them to be straight, not sideways, right? Because then the gantry goes to that plate, and you don't want that plate to be off, and then the gantry is being screwed on an angle, so it puts some stress. So straight. And to do that, you cannot only rely on alignment of those screws, because that's gonna be off. That's why I'm using granite square. The square edge is on the same flat as this plate, and it has 90-degree angle. So I'm gonna touch this here and then put the plate and put some screws. Just have to find the holes. Perfect, perfect. Yes, all it's nothing is moving. So here when I touch it, perfectly in contact, except the tiny bevel which is there. And here I touch it and it's in contact, so I know it's square in all the angles. And yeah, so that would be this. And then I have another plate which is a bit skinnier. I thought there is no point putting so much weight and making it 25, because only function for that plate is to move it that direction. Here I have those slots, so I can adjust to the position of the ball screw, which is mounted into the CNC, because mounting stuff to the granite, it's not the most precise thing you can do. So that's why you have to add some adjustments here or there for whatever misalignment you can expecting. I hope it does make sense what I said, and perhaps if I forget to mention something, also you could remind me in the comments, because to me stuff it's pretty obvious, but for you watching that thing for the first